Sir, you can start, sir.
So a very warm good evening to one and all.
Very good evening,
First
sir.
of all, a happy Concrete Day to all the civil engineering fraternity present over here. So today, the September 7th is celebrated as the Concrete Day, and that's why we came up with a webinar on a very relevant topic, because we are all talking about sustainability, green concept and everything. So what is sustainability, how it can be practiced in our day-to-day life or in our constructions. So today we have the right person with us, Dr. Bharati Ganesh, to talk about the sustainability and how it can be practically implemented. So all of you know about Indian Concrete Institute. So we have 45 chapters across the country and more than 15,000 engineers associated with them. So ICI Kochi chapter is conducting a lot of programs to enhance the quality of concrete construction as well as development of concrete technology. So on this way, we have arranging some webinars for a long time, and this is our 62nd webinar in association with Qcrete. So I personally thank Qcrete for coming up with this idea and associate with the ICI Kochi chapter. So I'm not extending today. All of you are eagerly waiting to attend the session on sustainability and practice from Dr. Bharati Ganesh. I welcome Dr. Bharati Ganesh for this program and all the delegates present over here. A hearty welcome to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening.
Very good evening, sir.
On behalf of Qcrete, it is my privilege to introduce Dr. Bharati Ganesh.
Hello.
He has been working as professor in Department of Civil Engineering, NITEM, Meenakshi Institute of Technology, Bangalore. He has 2 years of industrial experience and about 28 years experience in teaching as professor. Her research interest includes concrete, self-compacting concrete, use of alternative materials, fresh and hardened properties of concrete, different materials to be used in concrete, application of nanotechnology in civil engineering, microstructures of concrete. You can say anything you name in concrete, she is working and interested.
No, so much, sir. Yeah.
Other initiatives, she has guided 46 MTech students of postgraduate studies in structural engineering specialization. 2 students. She is guiding 5 PhD research scholars. She has published 15 papers in international journals, 56 in international conferences, 16 in national conferences, nearly 15 technical articles to technical magazines. She writes technical articles to the technical magazines, and in fact, she has helped many students. Probably not recollected and put everything on this paper. Actually, she has been helping many students, and this is one of our, I can say, the character of Dr. Bharati Ganesh. All the students like her, and she is guiding many students. In fact, some papers she has helped me to publish actually. Bharati Ganesh is secretary ASCE, treasurer Southern Region, American Society of Civil Engineers, 2019 to 21. She is member of Construction Management Institute UK, expert member for Construction Technology, Central University, Kalburgi, Karnataka State Coordinator for Engineers, Council of India, Joint Secretary for Bangalore, SVAK Bangalore, member of Governing Council of NITE School of Fashion Technology, member of Academic Council, NITE School of Architecture, member of Board of PG Studies, PSC Structural Board, UVC Bangalore, member of Committee constituted by BBMP Bangalore for monitoring bridges and flyovers by institutions. Convener, Research Council 2019, NMIT. Member, Divisional Committee of Research Scholars of reputed institutions. Reviewer, Scientific Net. Transtech Publications, AIP Series 4. Managing Committee Member of Indian Concrete Institute, Karnataka, Bangalore, 2011 to 2013. She is member of several professional bodies, ASCE, ICA, ACC, INS, BAG, Instruct, IACS, NWSF, ISCS, IFERP, CMI, ECI. As a resource person, she has presented technical presentations in various conferences in 7 other countries, workshops and FTPs, hands-on training in civil engineering at Kushala, training for skilled workers at Kengeri, Bangalore, and also Instruct. She believes in knowledge upgradation in this fast-changing technological era, and hence is a regular participant of TV conferences, seminars, workshops to keep updating herself with the present scenario of construction industry. As I mentioned, she has been guiding thousands of students, and it is very difficult for us to on a single paper and difficult to explain all this in 10 to 15 minutes. So with good, because she accepted quickly when we invited her for presenting lecture on this platform. We are extremely thankful to you, madam. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Kaushika sir. Very good evening. Namaste to all respectful dignitaries online, my dear participants. I wish all of you happy Teachers Day, which was on 5th September, and happy Engineers Day, which is on in advance, 15th September. Of course, happy Concrete Day today, 7th September. Yes, it is my privilege to be part of this webinar, and I am happy to mention that NMIT is associated with Qcrete. We have an MOU with them, and Kaushika sir is helping us in many ways through project work, internship, placement, etc. Since very long. My sincere thanks to him for this opportunity, as well as for the support he is giving to NMIT Department of Civil Engineering. I express my sincere thanks to the organizers, that is Indian Concrete Institute Kochi Center and Qcrete Technologies Private Limited. This program is in association with them. My thanks to Dr. Elson John. He is a Vice Chairman, and Dr. Anil Joseph, Chairman, and his team, Dr. Jeb Thomas, then Engineer Sunita Nair and Shiju Nair. I also thank Mr. Shelly Fernandez, MD of Qcrete Readymix India Private Limited, for this special way of knowledge dissemination. This was a trend during COVID. However, I think Qcrete did not stop. It is 62nd webinar, which is being hosted in association with Indian Concrete Institute, Kochi Center. Hope I am audible. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. So with this brief introduction, I start my presentation. Shall I?
Yes.
Okay. So the topic of my presentation is sustainability and sustainability practices, a timeline requirement of construction industry. Is slide changing?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, this is my favorite slide, and this will be my second slide always. Feel proud to be civil engineers. This is the tagline for my students also whenever I make a presentation or when we have a function. You know, civil engineers are always on the top of the world. You can see the image of vehicles moving here, and civil engineers are sitting so comfortably and enjoying their position. They are the nation builders. So it is really proud to be nation builders. During today's presentation, I am going to touch upon the Indian scenario and what we look for after my introduction. Then global construction material market size, demand for housing and infrastructure, and the huge demand for material consumption, how the material footprint is assessed or material flow accounting, global construction material market size, and then economic growth and concept of sustainability. Sustainability and ancient India, sustainability aspects, built environment, embodied energy of material, assessment of sustainability, policies, practices, and Indian government initiatives, followed by conclusion. You know, the population dynamics is changing fast, with 55% of the world's population lives in urban area. It is expected to increase by 68% by 2050. The world's urban population is expected to be highly concentrated in just a few countries, which includes India, China, Nigeria, which will account for about 35% of projected growth. So by 2050, it is projected that India will have added 416 million urban dwellers. Obviously, the impact will be on our country. In Indian scenario, there is a robust demand. It is increasing, it is helping in increasing income, urbanization, and economic growth, which are driving residential and other type of realty demand in India. It has also become a preferred asset classes for the investment. There are various attractive opportunities, growing requirements of space for sectors such as education, healthcare, e-commerce, and logistics. There is a policy support from the government. It has allowed FDI up to 100% for township and settlements development projects. Then with this, there is an increase in the investment trend. It is driven by increasing transparency and returns. Private investments in the sectors have surged between 2009 to 18, and Indian real estate sector attracted institutional investment worth 30 lakhs. This is the previous data, old data. So there's a lot of demand for housing and infrastructure. This is like a visual circle. Because of the importance of economic growth, there is a higher tax revenue, which results in public sector and private sector investments, and due to which increased productivity will be there, which in turn creates a lot of job opportunities and income to the country, and hence there will be economic growth. So typical examples I can quote here are one from United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates 11 million Etihad rail project and 2.7 billion Sheikh Zayed double-deck road project is going to start this year, and it is going to be completed by 2026. Then in India, 100 critical transport infrastructure projects with investment of rupees 75,000 crores, and then a capital investment of 10 lakh crores crores. And if you take up Australia, the gas industry road upgrades in Northern Territory in Australia will be upgrading roads for supporting the development of gas resources around Beetaloo sub-basin. So Australian government has sanctioned $173.6 million for this particular project. These are all the typical examples, and construction material market is in the highest, and you know, material consumption is at its peak, whether take it as a concrete or steel, it is at its peak, and the projected growth is consumption is around 1,729.62 billion by 2030. So because of the huge demand for housing and infrastructure, construction industry is one of the largest consumer of materials and natural resources and is a major contributor to the growth of any nation. It is also responsible for maintaining the harmony of nature, which is the basis for sustainability. So if we look at the consumption of material, the construction sector is the second largest sector with regard to the material consumption, accounts for around 20% of the material demand. Further, construction sector is also the fastest growing sector with regards to the increases in absolute material consumption. Majorly, material consumption grew by more than 1 billion ton during 2007 itself. If such growth rates continue, the construction sector will surpass the agriculture sector and become the sector with highest material consumption. So, global construction material market size, I took an example of Asia Pacific construction material market size. In this survey, the global construction market size is projected to grow from $1,320 billion in 2023 to $1,729.62 billion in 2030 at a CAGR of 3.9%. So, growing food, building structures, or moving goods from place to place are all energy intensive industries. Energy makes up a significant part of operating cost for business in all these areas, and it is a basis for assessing sustainability also. Making comprehensive assessment of country's resource requirement is a challenging task. There's a method named as material flow accounting, which was developed to assess overall scale of resource extraction and use. The term industrial metabolism or societal metabolism have been used to illustrate material flows and the scale of impact on the environment indicated by the size of metabolic throughput. That means the amount of material appropriated from environment and returned back to it in the altered form. This is most important sentence. Metabolic throughput, the amount of material appropriated from the environment and returned back to it in the altered form. So while assessing the material flow accounting, few materials are selected under each area or each industry. In construction industry, the critical materials identified in material flow accounting and criticality was assessed on the basis of. So when they select few materials, the points or the attributes they consider are scarcity of the resource, both physical and economic, then cost of material and the transit and carriage, that is transportation cost, then environmental impact due to extraction and production, and then finally embodied energy, that is energy consumed from the moment of extraction, then production, and then transportation. Then supply risk, which includes potential political, physical, cultural, legal, etc. Then finally reuse and recyclability potential of the material for secondary uses. So based on these 6 criteria, these materials are selected and assessed. Now for the civil engineering industry or construction industry, the fine material identified are sand, soil, stone, limestone, and iron and steel. So where do we get these materials from, resources from? Solar, we draw 6% of solar energy, 20% water resources, 10% wind power, 54% for forest resources, 24% animal resources, natural gas 32%, then 8% crude oil, 12% land resources. So we depend on the earth. We are dependent fully on the earth, trying to extract the material and also to exploit the natural resources. So what is exploitation? Exploitation of the natural resources is dependency on the natural and finite resources for economic growth of any nation without balancing the resources and waste. So earth is one of the 5 elements of nature, and from where we draw materials or resources for everything in construction. Earth is one of the 5 elements of nature called Panchabhuta in Sanskrit. So it is Jal or water, Akash or ether, then Agni or fire, Bhumi or earth, air or Vayu. So these are the 5 main elements of nature. We forget that we extract resources from it. At the same time, material should be returned back to the earth in the most safest form. So here the principle of metabolic throughput is that the amount of materials appropriated from the environment and returned back to it in the altered form. It is like energy is neither created nor destroyed. Okay, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. One of the Dr. Gautam Chatterjee says our whole cosmic quest of the world and beyond starts from the point of Panchabhuta, which then manifests in an enjoying manner to form the life force, and then later those 5 elements disintegrates to ensure a celestial traverse at the Paramanu level, that means atom level. So the resource extraction, utilization, disposal, and typically impose significant environmental burden, many of which, particularly climate change caused by greenhouse gas emissions from the fossil fuel use, are becoming acute in the 21st century. Hence, there is a strong emphasis on the resource efficiency, use of secondary and alternative materials, processes, technologies, maintenance and repair, and is necessary for the construction industry going forward. India, being a fast growing economy, should commit to these requirements to compete with the ever changing challenges of the world. So therefore, we need to manage growth and development without compromise in the requirement in terms of sustainability. That is, the judicious use of resources is essential in every society's interest through a combination of conservation, efficiency measures for economic, social, and environmental sustainability. So the buzzword worldwide is sustainability and sustainable practices. The construction industry should become more responsible in its practices of creating structures using those processes that are environmentally responsible, resource efficient, and throughout a building's life cycle, from siting to design, selection of materials, construction, operation, maintenance, renovation, and deconstruction. Hence, to make a green infrastructure, the practices expands and complements the classical building design concepts of economy, utility, durability, comfort, and is known as sustainable high performance infrastructure. Sustainability is not new for Indians. Sustainability has always been a core component of Indian culture. Its philosophy and values have underscored a sustainable way of life. Ancient India, how environment is related, how it was given importance. It is interesting to see ancient Vedas with several references regarding ecological balance and environmental protection. All the four major Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda, recognize the importance of maintaining season cycles. They also highlight how this gets altered results in climate change owing to the inappropriate human actions. India is a diverse country with a variety of ethnicities and religions. For most Indians, faith is an essential trait. The Indians are great supporters and promoters of environmentalism. Indians regard everything about them as a pervaded by divine presence. The rivers, be it rivers, mountains, lakes, animals, flora and fauna, are all manifestations of God. So they worship Panchabutas as five gods of nature. Thus, there's a deep respect and gratitude felt towards the nature. However, the trend of construction industry, the main focus of construction industry or any country is of developments in the construction industry that should not be towards not only be the towards cost reduction but also towards implementation of sustainability practices while in use of high-tech materials or energy intensive materials, faster construction processes and mechanization. So the sustainability can be considered under four different aspects of built environment, then consumption of material, environmental aspects and ultimate effects. So the built environment covers all aspects of our lives, encompassing the buildings we live in, the distribution system that provides us water and electricity, the roads and bridges and transport system which helps us connecting from place to place, commuting facility. So through this, this built environment should be, while considering the built environment from the stage of conception to the completion, at every stage, sustainability should be looked into, whether it is surveying, design, construction, operation, maintenance, renovation or reconstruction. At all stage, one has to look at the energy of each material and processes. So use of less energy intensive materials, processes, technology and maintenance is one of the key factor for adopting sustainability. Use of alternative materials in construction also. For a systematic energy and carbon assessment of buildings, it is critical to use a whole life cycle approach, which takes into account the embodied energy as well as operating energy. So then what is embodied energy? Embodied energy is the energy which is required from the moment from the extraction of material to the process and then finally producing a product and transporting it. So in construction, that means the sum total of all energy incorporated or invested throughout various stages of manufacture from raw materials to finished product. Now in construction, there are various stages at which energy is involved. Initially, embodied energy. Embodied energy is energy consumed in creating the structure, which indirectly says it is from conception to completion. Then the for a material perspective, from extraction, processing, manufacture and transportation and assembly. The second one is recurring embodied energy. that is the energy required for day-to-day maintenance. Then operational energy, which may be active or passive. Passive energy system is energy drawn from natural resources, renewable energy. Active energy system is energy from HVAC, mechanical, electrical, chemical processor and other requirements. Then also it also includes demolition energy, energy required and or consumed in the process of demolishing the structure, dismantling the components and structure. So there are each material has an embodied energy measured in terms of megajoule per kg. There are few materials I have listed here as a sample. While selecting the materials, there are many points to be considered. One of the points is embodied energy. Sometimes we may select a material which has low embodied energy. However, if it needs high operational and maintenance energy, then it may not be worth selecting that material. So if you look at here, steel, structural steel is 38.8 megajoules per kg, steel corrugated steel 79.8. Of course, this energy assessment depends on place to place. Small variation will be there with reference to that. So if we look at the embodied energy with reference to operating energy, we can see here that there is almost 2.5 times increase in the operational energy. You can see here this embodied energy of building mate is studied by Stephen Pullen. He considered 10 houses in Australia and studied about embodied energy as well as operation energy. The relationship between embodied energy and heating cooling energy requirement was estimated from typical 10 case studies. The average ratio of heating and cooling energy requirement to the embodied energy is of almost 2.9:1, which indicates that embodied energy is quite significant. So you can see here the different structure in which he has different buildings from different locations he has considered and assessed the ratio of the operational energy and then embodied energy. That is one part. Second one, the replacement of material during the course of life period of a structure. So when the component is replaced, this is one more point to be considered as a point of from the point of sustainability. For a replacement period chosen for an expected life of 80 years, only those components which are used during the lifetime of building are provided here, which are replaced. Steel roof sheeting, for example, 40 years is replacement period. Carpet 12, paint 8 years, kitchen cabinets 25 years, then water services 15 years, wiring and fitting 50 years, driveway 15 years, and fences 35 years. Yes, I was mentioning that while selecting the materials, it is important to see few aspects in addition to embodied energy. For example, see, if we consider aluminum, the weight of the material, then its recyclability, energy intensive production, and the waste management when from the aluminum. Those comes under environmental significance. However, economic significance is whether it is widely used, especially in transportation, construction, electricity generation, then increased global demand, price volatility, consumption strongly coupled with economic growth. Means there are n number of factors in addition to embodied energy in terms of any environmental significance and economic significance to see while selecting a material for construction. So I have quoted a few: copper, iron and steel, rare earth elements, phosphorus and paper. So when all these materials, one of the points is reuse and recycling. Okay, so waste management. So waste management is a known factor for all of us about sustainability. However, we are trying to incorporate waste as a resource, not just in concrete, in any other areas also, materials. So in addition to the waste as a resource, there are other opportunities which are created through the use of waste materials. That is the concept of reduce, reuse, and recycle. The Recycling Economic Information, REI, reported by Environmental Protection Agency, EPA US. The EPA report includes updated information about number of jobs that is created from recycling and the wages created and tax revenue to the government. The report shows that recycling and reuse of materials creates job while also generating local and state tax revenues. You know, one of the example cited was, this is an old data but still worth knowing about it. It is in United States accounted for 681,000 jobs and $37.8 billion in terms of wages and 5.5 billion in terms of tax revenues. So this equates to nearly 1.17 jobs for every 1,000 tons of material recycled. It's an interesting data, you know. In addition to the reduction in the burden of disposal of waste, it also creates job, it also creates wages and tax for the government. In this waste material recycling, ferrous metal industry provides largest contribution to all three categories. That means to both all three, job, wages, and tax revenue. That is followed by C&D waste, and thirdly, non-ferrous metals such as aluminium. So the recycling conserves natural resources, strengthens our economy, and creates job also, right? So the construction industry accounts for more than 40% of global energy consumption, as well as about 40 to 50% of greenhouse gas emission. And in particular, it consumes 16% of water in the world. So consumption of resources in terms of energy, water, material, and natural resources. The benefit from adopting sustainable construction methods and materials, all of us know that it makes energy efficiency, it improves energy efficiency, then contributes to the environmental sustainability, and it improves strength and durability. So in terms of these resources, so in addition to it, there are benefits, known benefits for health and environment, improved health due to safer materials, increased productivity, better surroundings, more effective noise protection, are one of a few advantages I have mentioned here. Green buildings can improve the quality of life. Overall, we would say that green building concept will improve the quality of life. One can significantly reduce the carbon footprint by using renewable materials, reducing waste, minimizing energy usage during the construction. And there is emotional benefits also, improvement in the pride and improved living and workspace. Yeah, the latest trend or the concept that is moving around in the industry is about carbon dioxide emission. Carbon dioxide emission focus is on reducing carbon dioxide emission in all the projects. It ensures carbon carbon is consistently and transparently quantified at all key points for a project. It is to achieve lower carbon solutions. Then users are required to develop their expertise with the carbon management. This is during construction and during maintenance also. Then net zero targets for every project, net zero carbon transition, reduce whole life carbon emission as well as whole life capital and operational cost, and an increased emphasis on whole life carbon in line with 1.5-degree global warming and circular economy principles. A report in 2021 from Oxfam found that by 2030, the global average emission needs to sit at just 2.3 tons of carbon dioxide per year to keep the global warming below 1 degree centigrade. So there is one more index called Greendex Index. These Greendex Index is compiled annually by National Geographic and Globescan. It measures the way consumer patterns are responding to the environmental concern. The collected information is then gathered into comprehensive ranking system. If you look at the map here, the India comes under 61 to 65% green index score. That indicates that these results show that Indian consumers are most conscious about their environmental footprint and are making the most sustainable choices. I don't know what are the factors which are assessed because the actual trend and the point mentioned here. However, as an economy developers, as the economy develops, the grows further, socio-economic trends are shifting. The country's achievement so far in no way negate the environmental concerns it still faces. So the sustainable construction practices aim at net zero buildings and infrastructure, energy conservation course of practice, some comprehensive plans to achieve sustainability that calls for transit-oriented development, then compact development patterns, environmental stewardship strategies to reduce environmental impacts of various stages of construction, material selection, technology, practices, operation and maintenance. So it also insists on minimizing sprawl and conservation of natural resources. There are many courses for practicing sustainability, for adopting sustainability across the world. I have listed few here, which is Carbon Management in Building and Infrastructure, PAS 2080-2023. This is practice action, an example, practical actions, examples, then Institution of Civil Engineers, Construction Leadership Council, code, then retrofitting dwellings for improved energy efficiency, specifications and guidelines, environmental management system requirement with guidance of use, BSEN ISO 1401, 2015, and other codes I have listed here. Okay. Now, while in my presentation, the regular mention of sustainability in terms of alternate materials, then use of or reuse, recycle, 3R concept, reduce, reuse and recycle, waste management. Those points I have avoided because all the participants are very familiar with those concepts. So how do we assess sustainability? What are the policies and regulations? The zoning codes to design buildings with green materials or energy efficient features are available. They are building codes from US Green Building Council, Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, that is LEED rating system, then USGBC lead rating system, and then International Energy Conservation Code IECC, International Green Construction Code IGCC, then Indian Green Building Council IGBC, GRIHA, Green Rating for Integrated Habitat Assessment, and New Building Code, National Building Code 2016. In LEED has different levels of certification for green buildings, which I think almost all of us are aware of, based on the different criteria, and total credits and points are earned. It will be the various criteria considered are sustainable sites. These sites includes, that means the design aspects, construction aspects, operation, maintenance, renovation, and deconstruction aspects, in addition to durability, then water efficiency, energy efficiency, and then atmosphere, material and resources, indoor environmental quality, innovation and design processes. So based on the material score, the LEED certification may be platinum, gold, silver, and then certified. 80 and above platinum, 60 to 79 gold, 50 to 59 silver, and then 40 to 49 points earned. It is just certified, LEED certified building. Similarly, the local green assessment body is Green Rating for Integrated Habitat Assessment, that is GRIHA. GRIHA has rating variants. It may be for recreation building, rectification, Swagriha rectification, Griha rectification, then you have affordable housing, existing buildings, Griha for existing schools, Griha for large developments, and Griha for cities. Under rating, we can adopt depending upon the criteria under which it comes. Griha for pre-certification, SV Griha, Griha then for existing buildings, schools, large cities, etc. The same thing which is quoted here in words. Then comes National Building Code. Under National Building Code, construction management guidelines have been incorporated to aid in timely completion of the building projects with desired quality in a safe manner within the budgeted cost. Then guidance has been provided for making the building and built environment energy efficient, environmentally compatible through newly introduced and upgraded chapters of sustainability. Part 11, Approach to Sustainability. The salient features of National Building Code is promoting sustainability in buildings and built environment in tandem with relevant sustainable development goals. A few points are mentioned here. From Part 11, Approach to Sustainability. So, sustainable building strategy includes sustainability performance indicators, property defining sustainable development, sustainability impact assessment in India, then robust legal foundation for sustainable human and social development, climate change adaptation and resilient buildings in India, a sustainable Indian building environment which is accessible for all. Also, fire safety protection for all sustainable Indian buildings. This is with reference to National Building Code 2016. Then what are the performance indicators? The performance indicators may be both quantitative and qualitative, but must cover all stages of building processes, that is project feasibility, performance specification, spatial planning, design, construction, management, operation, maintenance and servicing, deconstruction, disposal, final site cleanup and sustainable repair. Sorry, key performance index, KPI. It has different criteria: outdoor environmental quality, indoor environmental quality. Under each point, there are sub points to assess individually air quality, then acoustics, environmental quality, heat island index, etc. Under outdoor environmental quality, under in indoor environmental quality, yeah, environmental quality across similar points, HVAC system, then comes plumbing and drainage system, renewable energy system, total resources and consumption, user behavior. So while planning, every point mentioned here should be considered to make sure that it comes under sustainability index. So worldwide sustainability promotion. The sustainable development goals are universal, call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and to improve the lives and prospects of everyone everywhere. So there are 17 goals which are very common. It is known to all of us. The 17 goals, they were adopted by all UN member states in 2015, and as a part of it, in 2030, Agenda for Sustainable Development, which sets out 15-year plan to achieve the goals. So these 17 sustainability goals are mentioned here, and then yeah, the following principles are required to be adopted across their business practices and in their advocacy with stakeholders as well as media and commercial partners and sponsors. They are sustainability policies and practices, implementing and advocating for SDGs, a human right-based approach, including addressing issues of discrimination, and avoiding discriminatory practices, then equality and equity, including gender, then climate action. So anybody can become a member, and countries following those guidelines with eligibility can become the member of Sustainability Goal Index. So what are the policies? So there are many policies and initiatives by India for sustainable development. Country's National Action Plan for Climate Change, launched in 2008, concentrates on 8 national missions striving at mitigating the effects of climate change through sustainable development strategies, several large-scale renewable energy projects, ambitious solar mission program that aims to generate 100 gigawatt solar power by 2022, which is extended up to 2026. Then sustainable agricultural practices, sustainable lifestyle for environment, sustainable renewable energy resources and their adoption, waste management and recycling efforts, challenges faced in implementing eco-friendly practices in India are, there are many challenges. Then the government's initiative towards promoting renewable energy sources, proper waste management, and the promotion of traditional sustainable living practices are the significant steps toward a sustainable future of India. These are a few schemes with few schemes with incentives and subsidies to promote these schemes. Some of the examples of government initiatives I have mentioned here: Green Energy Corridor. I think the revised sanction of Gujarat Green Energy Corridor Phase 2 is the extension of this is mentioned here. Union Cabinet gives a nod for infra-state transmission system worth 12,031 crore. Solar Mission of India of land developed with common infrastructure facilities like transmission infrastructure, road, water, drainage, communication network, etc., with all statutory clearances. Thus, solar project developers can set up a solar project hassle-free. The scheme was rolled out by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy during 2014. Under the scheme, it was proposed to set up at least 25 solar parks, ultra mega solar power projects targeting 20,000 megawatts solar power installed capacity within a span of 5 years, starting from 14-15. The capacity of scheme was enhanced from 20,000 megawatts to 40,000 megawatt on 21/3/2017. These solar parks are proposed to be set by 23-24 to achieve a cumulative installation capacity of 40,000 megawatts from grid-connected rooftop solar projects. This project was supposed to be completed by 2020, but it is extended. And you can see here, 16th June 2023, the development of solar parks and ultra mega solar project is further extended up to 31st March 2026 without any additional financial implications. So other schemes are National River Conservation Plan, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Smart City Mission, etc. So what is the need of the hour? Commitment for implementation of sustainability. We talk so much about sustainability. However, it is mainly now we have to focus on implementation at every stage. So during 1991, when a new economic policy was introduced, these policies liberalized the market and introduced India to the globalized world. There is no doubt that 1991 reforms lifted many millions out of poverty thanks to the rapid growth. However, general trend of economic profits meant environmental degradation. That is the cause of concern. However, when the reforms were purely driven by economic consideration without ignoring environmental criteria, earth is saved and sustainability become the part of economic growth. That is what is need of the hour. Sorry. Commitment for implementation. Moreover, at the time of India's liberalization, no significant economical policy changes took place that could explain or combat the changes in the pollution intensity of production and exports. Can economic profit and environment care not go hand in hand? That is a question every one of us should ask to ourselves as well as to the bureaucrats. The countries like India may not be alone, though many developing countries have had weak environmental policies, previous trade barriers that favored capital intensive production. So sustainability, the key for future prevent natural calamities. This is this sustainability in construction covers various advantages which I have already mentioned: social aspects, environmental benefits, economical benefits, improving overall productivity, reducing the overall impact on the environment, protection from health of end user, use of conservation of natural resources. So why green infrastructure? So we started a presentation with these three aspects: economical aspects, social aspects, and environmental aspects. For instance, economic aspects: reduce operating cost, create, expand, shape markets for green products and services, improve occupants' productivity, and optimize life cycle economic performance. However, social aspects, it enhances occupants' comfort and health, heightens aesthetic qualities, minimizes strains on local infrastructure, improve overall life quality of life. And finally, what is most important is environmental aspects. It enhances and protects biodiversity and ecosystem. It improves air and water quality, it reduces waste streams, and conserves and restores natural resources. So green buildings may incorporate sustainable materials, create healthy indoor environment with minimum pollutants, and or feature landscaping that reduces water usage. So to conclude, The confronted with population growth, rapid urbanization, and rising income resulted in increasing demand from consumers and industry trends. The resource extraction, use, and improper disposal method is leading to land degradation, biodiversity loss, air and water pollution, as well as greenhouse gas emissions, contributing to climate change that are expected to worsen in future if corrective actions are not taken. So these will severely hinder particularly India's efforts to promote balanced and inclusive growth, to improve living standards, improve infrastructure, and create macroeconomic stability. Hence, implementation of far-sighted and comprehensive resource policy is essential for India going forward in order to meet social, economical, and environmental sustainability goals. So this presentation is one of the various initiatives and confidence building efforts towards creating the awareness towards conservation of natural resources and protection of environment. Now it's time to act. Hence, I would say that effective utilization of resources, keeping in mind an optimization of energy, minimization of pollution, adoption of lean management, conservation of natural resources should be the key focus areas of any construction. These are the references from which I have drawn the materials for my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam, for beautiful and informative speech. Now, question and answer session. First question is, sustainability is basically using less materials as quality are becoming scarce, but some code clauses prevent using such minimum materials. For example, IS 875 part 2 prescribes LL, which is very high. IS 1893 is increasing the EQ loads, etc. What is your opinion about it? Asked by Dr. Subramanian Narayanan.
Oh, N. Subramanian, sir. Good evening, sir. Can you repeat the question once, or is it there in the chat box?
No, ma'am. Now I will repeat. Sustainability is basically using less materials as quality materials are becoming scarce, but some code classes prevent using such minimum materials. For example, IS 875 part 2 prescribes LL, which is very high. Is 1893 is increasing the IQ loads, etc. What is your opinion about it?
Okay. IS 1875 part 2 live load increase. At the same time, sustainability prescribes usage of lesser material, whereas earthquake load as per 1893 is high. Am I right, sir? Have I interpreted the question correctly? Because the way it is read, it's difficult to understand. However, yes, maybe I need to explore more on these things to answer your question. However, yes, optimization of resources is the key element of sustainability, which needs to be considered while revising the code for live load consideration as well as earthquake load consideration. Hope I have understood the question correctly.
Thank you, madam. Next question is, are there any studies on economics of sustainable buildings? The general notion that sustainable buildings are more expensive than conventional ones discouraged. Asked by Gopala Krishnan S.N.
Yeah, there are studies. Can you repeat the question? I think if you can share that question in WhatsApp, I'll be able to read it correctly and understand it, because pause and the. Can you repeat, Nilama? Can you repeat the
Yes,
question?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Are there any studies on economics of sustainable
Yeah,
building?
Okay, there are.
And the
Economics
next
of sustainable
question in
building.
the
Yeah.
same question is, the general nation that sustainable buildings are more expensive than conventional ones.
Yeah, okay. Initial investment may be slightly higher than the conventional building. However, if we consider the operational cost and then maintenance cost, then I think overall life cycle cost of the building will get reduced. Hence, it is worth investing more at the initial stage. I hope he's answered.
Thank you,
Next
ma'am.
question. Yeah.
Next question is, which is the ideal and most suitable and economical method of curing green concrete to be sustainable? Asked by Vinay Kumar S.
Okay. Method of curing, sustainable method of curing. See, when we talk about sustainability, I was mentioning about the methods. It cannot just be answered with reference to 1 or 2 points. We need to think of the purpose for which the curing is to be adopted, and what is the type of structure, and what is the quantum of curing required. So those are, if with those details, we can definitely select the appropriate method of curing. Okay, because and scale of curing also is one of the factors which dictates the cost and durability and time involved in curing.
Thank you, madam. Next question is, sustainability is usually said to be a little high cost. Is it a myth? How can we make sustainable practices cost effective? Asked by Janavi Oza.
I think the second question, which asked about the initial cost, higher cost of sustainable structure with sustainable concepts, I think this holds good here also. Initial cost may be a little high, and appropriate selection of materials, methodology, and construction, we can reduce the cost also.
Thank you, madam. Next question is, can we get the same life of building when we use sustainable material? Asked by Sheikh Abdullah.
Yes, why not? Even the while assessing a building with reference to sustainability, or while selecting material, methodology, and appropriately, there is no compromise in the quality of structure, durability, in addition to its life cycle, lifetime also, life of the structure.
Thank you, madam. Next question is, sustainability is decades scenario. To what extent sustainability is renewed? Asked by Lata MS.
Can you repeat the question?
Sustainability is decades scenario. To
It is a
what
decade.
extent? Decades scenario. To what extent sustainability is renewed?
Renewed. Why I did not understand the question, because she is calling it as a decade scenario. It is not a decade scenario. I didn't get the question correctly. Now, please request the audience or to write the question to me. I'll reply to her. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. I will send that question through mail and answer through mail only, ma'am. Lot more questions are there, but time is less. So now I handing over to Kaushika sir for vote of thanks.
Thank you, Nilama.
Thank you.
So we are coming to end of this wonderful session on sustainability, which is the buzzword throughout the world now, and everybody, every engineering college and every professional, especially in the welding industry, is speaking about sustainability. And we are extremely thankful on behalf of Qcrete Readymix India Private Limited to Dr. Bharati Ganesh, Madam, for giving this wonderful and thoughtful presentation. It really gave huge insights into many aspects of sustainability, and as she has presented here, it is a kind of a, she has filtered or funneled kind of a oceanic subject, actually very big subject. She has put it in these slides, and the efforts have to be really appreciated. Thanks, madam. And we thank all the audience for attending and learning from Dr. Bharati Ganesh many aspects of sustainability. And I'm sure with this lecture, Dr. Bharati Ganesh has expanded our students list. Thank you, madam. Thanks for accepting, and thanks for kind of accepting when we asked you to do this lecture in a very short time. You accepted. We are thankful to you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much to you also, sir, and also to ICI Kochi Center for this opportunity. Quickly, I have gathered a few information from the net. I acknowledge the material which are drawn from the net, and I hope I have done little justice to the topic. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the audience or participants online. Thank you very much once again. Happy Engineers Day. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So please share the questions. It's an educative one. Thank you. Please share it over the mail.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Shall I exit?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sir, also share the feedback, okay?